Have you ever stopped to think, why January is the first month of the year and December is the last? Why not March or even July? Well, the answer isn't as simple as it seems. It's a fascinating mix of history, mythology, and some decisions made by the Romans centuries ago. Stick around because this story will definitely surprise you. To get the full picture, let's rewind to ancient Rome. Back then, their calendar had only 10 months. Yep, just 10. And here's the interesting part. The year didn't begin in January. It started in March, which actually made sense. March marked the beginning of spring and the start of the agricultural season. For the Romans, March was like the New Year's Day, a celebration of new beginnings and productivity for farmers and warriors alike. But here's the strange thing. The months we know as January and February didn't even exist back then. Instead, the Romans didn't bother counting the cold, unproductive winter months, approximately 61 days. It was like they said, let's just skip to spring. Imagine having 2 months of time that didn't officially exist. During those lost months, people didn't just sit around. This was their time to regroup, fix things up, and get ready for spring. It's curious to think how their lives might have felt without the sense of measured progress we rely on today. But then came King Numa Pompilius, who ruled Rome around 700 BCE. He thought, this calendar doesn't make sense. We need to account for winter. So he added 2 new months, January, named after Janus, the god of beginnings and transitions, and February, tied to purification rituals. However, these months weren't added to the beginning of the year. Instead, they were tacked onto the end of the year, making the Roman calendar 12 months long for the first time. This wasn't just about adding numbers to a calendar. It changed how people saw time itself. Suddenly, winter wasn't just the cold, boring season. It became part of the story, shaping everything from traditions to rituals. Fast forward to 45 BCE, and here comes Julius Caesar, the man who changed everything. Caesar introduced the Julian calendar, which was much more accurate than the old system. But he didn't stop there. He decided to make January the first month of the year. Why January? Because of Janus, the two-faced Roman god who could look back at the past and forward into the future. What better symbol for the start of a new year? This was a game changer, not just for keeping time, but for setting the tone. January, with Janus's two-faced vibe, one looking back, the other ahead, became all about fresh starts. And that's how January became the official start of the year. Meanwhile, December, originally the 10th month, remained at the end of the year. This is why even today, December's name means 10th month in Latin, even though it's the 12th month now. Confusing, isn't it? Yet this quirk of naming is a fascinating reminder of how human systems evolve. It's a little piece of history embedded in our everyday lives. By the way, did you know that our modern calendar, called the Gregorian calendar, was introduced much later, in 1582, to fix tiny errors in the Julian calendar? But January still kept its place as the first month of the year. It's amazing how something as simple as the order of months can carry stories of gods, kings, and reforms across centuries. Oh, and did you know that not all cultures celebrate New Year in January? For example, in China, the New Year falls between late January and February, based on the lunar calendar. Similarly, other cultures, such as the Hindus and the Persians, observe New Year on different dates, often tied to the agricultural or astronomical cycles. These variations show how deeply local traditions and beliefs influence our perception of time. So really, who decided January would be the universal start? Turns out it's all about history, tradition, and a little bit of Roman influence. So the next time you flip your calendar to January, remember, it's more than just the start of a new year. It's a reminder of ancient history, Roman gods, and the bold decisions that shape the way we track time today. Fascinating, isn't it? There's so much more history and mystery to uncover. See you in the next one. Don't forget to hit like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.